Hi everyone. We're dealing with The Four Loves, C.S. Lewis's book. The natural loves, philia, storge, and eros, have elements of give and take, of sacrifice, and of selfishness. But agape love, or as Lewis calls it, charity, is unconditional, unselfish. Agape raises the other loves to a higher level. They are the supreme love, the way God loves. This is what Lewis says in his book describing this. To love at all is to be vulnerable. Love anything and your heart will certainly be wrung and possibly be broken. If you want to make sure of keeping it intact, you must give your heart to no one, not even to an animal. Wrap it carefully round with hobbies and little luxuries. Avoid all entanglements. Lock it up safe in the casket or coffin of your selfishness. But in that casket, safe, dark, motionless, airless, it will change. It will not be broken. It will become unbreakable, impenetrable, irredeemable. The alternative to tragedy, or at least to the risk of tragedy, is damnation. I believe that the most lawless and inordinate loves are less contrary to God's will than a self-invited and self-protected or protective lovelessness. It is like hiding the talent in a napkin, and for much the same reason. I knew thee that thou wert a hard man. Christ did not teach and suffer that we might become, even in the natural loves, more careful of our own happiness. If a man is not uncalculating towards the earthly beloveds whom he has seen, he is none the more likely to be so towards God whom he has not seen. We shall draw nearer to God not by trying to avoid the sufferings inherent in all loves, but by accepting them and offering them to Him, throwing away all defensive armor. If our hearts need to be broken, and if He chooses this as the way in which they should be, so be it. It remains certainly true that all natural loves can be inordinate. Inordinate does not mean insufficiently cautious, nor does it mean too big. It is not a quantitative term. It is probably impossible to love any human being simply too much. We may love him too much in proportion to our love for God, but it is the smallness of our love for God, not the greatness of our love for man, that constitutes the inordinacy. But even this must be refined upon. Otherwise we shall trouble some who are very much on the right road, but alarmed because they cannot feel toward God so warm a sensible emotion as they feel for the earthly beloved. It is much to be wished, at least I think so, that we all, at all times, could. We must pray that this gift should be given us. But the question whether we are loving God or the earthly beloved more is not, so far as concerns our Christian duty, a question about the comparative intensity of two feelings. The real question is which, when the alternative comes, do you serve or choose to put first? To which claim does your will, in the last resort, yield? Not everyone is forced into a position of having to choose between their family and God, and I certainly would not wish it on anyone. But if one is in the position where they feel they are being forced, it may be helpful to them to reflect upon the fact that God is the giver of the love that we feel. God is the giver of all four loves. and He has gifted us with those. So choosing to love God supremely is going to be, in the ultimate end, the best way that you can improve upon the natural loves. Because if you adopt or choose God and loving God supremely, you will be helped to be a better friend, a better marriage mate, a better parent, a better sibling, and better children. It doesn't always seem that way, but it is the way in which you demonstrate those loves best. I'm going to link to 2 videos. One is called, based on Ray Franz's book, In Christian Freedom, In Search of Christian Freedom, called J.W. Org, Fear Trumps Family Ties, but Unconditional Love from Non-JWs. So in this one, he's talking about when he's forced out of the Watchtower, he finds love in unexpected quarters. The second one is a video based on another C.S. Lewis book, From Screwtape Letters. So what you always have to remember when you're hearing anything based on Screwtape Letters, that Screwtape is a senior devil talking to a junior devil. This one was called Humility, Self-Forgetfulness, and Self-Sacrifice. These are marks of all who claim to be Christian.